Thank you so much for listening to another episode of CX Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Brady Chisana. All right, guys, thanks so much for listening to another episode of the CX Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Brady Chisana. Super excited, guys. It's one of the first episodes of the new year. It's been a busy couple of weeks out of the gates for 26, but super duper pumped to have an incredible guest with us today from an incredible company. Sagi, say hello to the CX Nation, my friend.
Hey, Adrian, it's good to be here.
So, guys, Sagi and his team at Deepdub are building, number one, not just a super cool business and a super cool set of products and solutions, but from a conversation last week with Sagi and learning more about the Deepdub team, they've been building in this space and they've been building in a world that many of us are starting to really pay attention to for many years. So I'm super pumped for Sagi to join the show today and to share his experiences and to talk about the incredible things that his team at Deepdub are doing. Sagi, before we jump into the pillars, before we jump into the fun stuff, brother, take a couple minutes to set the stage. Take a couple minutes to introduce yourself, some of the things maybe that you were doing even before Deepdub, how you got into this world that you are in, as the chief revenue officer of an incredible business like Deepdub. Just give the CX Station a little bit of your background and some of the stepping stones for how you got into this whole world.
Perfect. Thank you, Adrian. So my name is Sagi Reuven, a Chief Revenue Officer here at Deepdub for the last 3 years. Before that, for like 10 years, I've been bringing AI to production. Started around 2015 when I was a medical device startup CEO. Back then with retinal imaging and blood vessel classification, that was the very basic first applications of AI. Then I moved to a biotech company where we used that to identify proteins. Later on, I was a global business development leader at Siemens Digital Industries. And most of the work was, again, bringing AI to the electronics manufacturing process, working with manufacturers and helping them with testing and various other applications and in complex product manufacturing. Then I did the same thing with anti-money laundering. This was like
Nice.
an unsupervised, the first kind of real life applications for unsupervised machine learning. This was
Okay.
a little bit before the AI and generative AI thing boomed in. And then I joined Deepdub. Deepdub is a foundational voice model company. So when Deepdub started in 2020, this was still machine learning and the infrastructure was not ready for that. So Deepdub had to build the entire infrastructure with NVIDIA servers and doing the whole, building the training infrastructure. And it's a completely different adventure, completely different business world that we live in. It's very fast, rapidly changing. I mean, you can wake up in the morning and there is a new model out there that does
100%.
this and does that.
Yep.
And you have to adapt really, really fast to changes.
I mean, number one, it makes a ton of sense. Number two, you guys are working with in some ridiculous environments, Hollywood studios, global broadcasters, all of these other premium content creation pipelines. So like you guys are working with some people that not only do they need stuff now and do they need it done very well, but like these are people that are constantly playing with and understanding what voice infrastructure and how AI is going to play into voice infrastructure is doing. So super duper cool. Before we even jump into Deepdub, talk about a different world, man. Some of the things that you were doing before Deepdub, right? That must have helped. Meaning, like, one of the things I'm always fascinated by, Sagi, is like some of our guests, man, they end up becoming their executives in some of these companies that do whatever type of willy or where. It's always fascinating to me to hear and to see how many folks come from wildly different places and spaces and industries. So like what you were mentioning before, from Siemens to some of the medical stuff to money. Must have been an interesting set of different things to go through. So by the time you get to Deepdub, writing a playbook or helping to understand sort of your role in terms of how the hell am I going to grow this business? How am I going to find more customers? How am I going to drive revenue? How am I going to retain revenue? You must have had a lot of different points of perspective that you brought into the Deepdub role and into your years of helping to grow and build the company.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great story. I mean, from my perspective, because There are two main topics that I think made a lot of impact on me along the years. The first one is the understanding that working with AI requires very deep understanding of the benefits. And because there's always tension, and it's not just a financial justification, right? Let's calculate the ROI. But there's also like a lot of politics around that
Sure.
because maybe you're taking some other people's jobs, and maybe, the actors said we need to get compensated, and all kind of things that happen along the years, and we see it all over the place now with AI. So I think the first and foremost, I realized that you have to deliver value. You have to deliver value constantly all the time. It cannot be something minor because then the impact will not justify the change. Okay, now you can say that I'm stating the obvious, but it's not just a software replacement. It's not changing your CRM. It's a very disruptive process that some companies might see it as sending a message out there. Okay, so the second thing is related to understanding if you want to do like really great things together with your clients, you have to be considered as a consultant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to be considered as someone that is helping them to solve something that gets you to a different level of conversation. And I think this is the second thing that I learned along the years, especially with Siemens. In Siemens, you tend to come to companies that, it can be like a $50 million project. And they have consultants, they have employees, they have people from all over the place. They need you to teach them something new. They're not interested in another sales process. Otherwise, they won't spend time on you.
100%.
You need to talk about the big problem, the size of the problem, and you need to talk about new ideas. You need to be considered as someone that brings this, like the real added value into the process in helping them go through some kind of transformation.
100%. Sagi, when you say this, it reminds me of, can't remember the exact name of the book, but it's essentially, it's about this notion of the partnership economy. And it's this notion of future sales teams and future companies that are very successful at growing and finding new customers and growing the revenue. It's not just about bringing folks through a pipeline. It's actually about bringing the right folks, the right customers, the right users, sometimes a smaller level, more the concept of quality, not quantity, but establishing a partnership level with a customer. So yeah, I always kind of joke around, and you probably know exactly what I'm going to say is, but like, guys, some of the best customers that you can have in life, or that you can bring forward to other businesses or to other things that you're doing. If you become a partner, if you establish a partner level status or relationship with a customer, and let's stretch it further. If you can get to partnership level, you're already almost in friendship mode or team mode, meaning these clients already look at you as an extension of the business, an extension of the team. Your point about like, you got to be bringing value. You got to be bringing great ideas. It's not just about the whiz bang flash stuff. Like, you got to be creating value. And this notion of like partnership economy, or this notion of all of our listeners, if you're building a company, if your company's building willies or wares, or your services aren't kind of already built with this notion of like, how the hell do we go from like level one, from the minute that we find a new prospect, to lead an opportunity that's qualified, that we can help, and that they're right for our stuff, all the way to level 5 partnership level, where like you are literally embedded in the business. That's game changer, right? And then it's also one of the easiest ways to grow a business is to find a swath of customers that you can establish with them. It's way much easier. It's much easier said than done, obviously, Sagi. But I love that
Yeah.
notion.
And I'd add to that that the most difficult part, especially for us as sellers, right, is to really move into that consultant mode means that you would sometimes have to recommend the client to do something that is not in line with your interests.
Yeah. Yep.
And that, I think that's the moment when, like, if you are able to do that, then they trust you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So, as we've grown CXChronicles, we've been so fortunate to be able to build a stable of incredible strategic partners. Some of them are software companies. Some of them are telephonics companies. Many of them now AI companies, Huggy, where we're like starting to understand some of these incredible folks that have been on on the show, we start to understand what they're doing for the customers. We start to understand what their teams really build. And anyway, the point is, many times in as we get to meet all these incredible companies that we have an opportunity to work with at CXE, a big part of what we're doing is we're talking about different partner possibilities or different partner solutions that could be right for them. But some of those different partner opportunities and solutions absolutely have different financial impact to the business, to the CXE or to the business. Some partner opportunities, we can help introduce it. We can help to sell it or bring it to the customer. Then, because we're experts at doing other things with implementation and optimization and doing the actual ongoing management, some of those tools, we could absolutely say that that's the best tool that there is. But a big part of what we've gotten really good at is just offering the menus. And so for many of our customers, it's like showing them the menu, showing them what types of things are on the menu, understanding how hungry they are and what type of meal they want, understanding what their team needs and what type of food their team's trying to eat. And sometimes
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. Sometimes we're only off. Sometimes all we can really truly offer is the coffee, even though we want to show them the appetizers, and we want to show them multiple drinks, and we want to show them 3 sets of dinners, and then, but it doesn't always work that way. And then you're absolutely right. Whereas we've grown this business, man, there's been people that by giving them a coffee early on, 2, 3 years later, they come back and then they're ready to buy steak, or they're ready to buy steak and a bottle of wine and all that other stuff. So I love that thought for our listeners. A really interesting way to think about as you're building your businesses. A lot of times it's really offering information, value, expertise up front. And then later on down the line, the universe, it comes back later. Sometimes it's not even them, Sagi, right? Sometimes it's one of their friends. Maybe they never buy from you, but then they remember
Exactly.
that, or they learn something about what you can offer. And then one of their friends is in a need for that. And they say, oh, you should go reach out to Deepdub. You should go reach out to Adrian. You should reach out to Sagi. So it happens all the time. So yeah, I want to jump into the first pillar, team. Talk about the team that you guys are building at Deepdub. Talk about the team that you've built. What types of different folks do you have on the team? Where are you guys all located? Are you across the world? Are you in Tel Aviv? Spend a couple of minutes kind of talking about the Deepdub team so listeners get a sense for what you all are building.
All right, perfect. So Deepdub, yeah, some of the team is in Tel Aviv. People working in like direct sales of what we do, like dubbing as a service. We have 2 other folks doing like business development work that is related more to the API business. I'll explain a little bit about the profile in a bit. We have someone senior that is based in the US, and he's like a VP of sales of North America. This is where most of our big customers are.
Okay.
Um, and some kind of like a demand generation orchestrator that is kind of like helping us with everything that is related to demand generation. I think we are a pretty lean team. You need to be very dynamic because it's not so easy. I mean, people tend to have a mindset, and this brings me to the profile. And I tried hiring and I had to replace people along the years because the lifestyle of this new world, especially with AI, it's rapidly changing. You cannot have a playbook. I mean, it can change twice a week, and some people are having challenges with that. They are used to, okay, this is what I need to do. This would be like the more methodological people. Like you have profiles. Sales people have like different profiles, and some people are more methodological. Like they want to follow the process. They want to be strict with the numbers. This is how they qualify. Boom, boom, boom. They have it all structured, and they ace it. And I think this fits to a situation when you're selling software. This could be the situation because what you're offering is not that disruptive and does not require a higher level of education that goes beyond the product. When you're selling a CRM, you pitch on your CRM and that's it. But when we are pitching in this AI space, you need to educate the client on gazillion other things because he
Yep.
needs to sell it internally and people don't
Yep.
necessarily understand it yet. What are the legal implications? And this stuff is very dynamic, and the differentiation that you have between the competitors is different. So you need to have, I tend to hire people that are very curious, very like in the hunter mode,
Love it.
that are like kind of like able to do like a lot of context switching pretty quickly, and they go more on the art kind of approach rather than being very methodological in that
What,
sense, because you
Sagi, so
actually
really
have
quick,
to be
one thing I've been
dynamic.
doing differently in some of our episodes, it's funny, when I look at Deepdub's team and LinkedIn, and then you do the aggregate view that LinkedIn provides us to with your team. So of all the all the awesome folks you guys have on the team of LinkedIn, right? media and communication, arts and design, operations, information technology, and engineering. And so you just said they tend to be more on like the artistic. So media, arts, ops, and then info.
Yeah.
That's a badass
Yes.
blend, man. Meaning like we're moving into this
Yeah.
world where like a lot of the stuff that's going to be built, we still need smart people. We still definitely need smart people. But like I think
Yes.
what's so cool about AI is like you also need awesome people, humans that are going to bring most of these AI solutions
Exactly.
that last
Yeah.
mile, man. That's still human to human. That's still being able to do that last bit of that touch. So it's interesting that a lot of the background that the folks on the Deepdub team, they come from that type of a world.
Being creative is much more important now. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
everyone can build
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
software,
Yep.
everyone can build
Yep.
apps. So
Yep.
being creative is way more important, and being open-minded to listen to things that might evolve into something that even me, like on a regular, like any other product, I would probably unqualify something, but sometimes you understand the use case and then you can offer a solution, and then things evolve and that can turn into like a huge contract eventually. But
100%.
you have to be on a listening mode in that phase of where we are with the tech.
Absolutely, 100%. 100% agree. If with AI, and I'm asking everybody this, so I'm not putting you on the spot, Sagi, but like for this new year, have things changed with your guys' team strategy? Are you're continuing to hire? Are you hiring different things? Or do you have a different set of expectations now for what? So you already laid out this. You are creative, awesome, open people, like human people. What changes with AI? And I'm going to be asking everybody this question here. One or two big things that your entire leadership team
Yeah.
already came into this year knowing. All right, for anybody that joins this company from this point forward, is there anything like that that you guys are kind of thinking about in your leadership meetings? Is
Yeah,
there anything that you kind of already made
absolutely.
some decisions on?
Absolutely. Two major things that for me are key. I'll give some background. In my previous role, I built the business development team for this fintech company that I mentioned earlier, and I hired like crazy. Like I would hire 4 BDRs a month and firing 2. You know, it was crazy. Constantly. It was a big team all the time. 15 people, 20 people, 18 people, interns,
And you would just be
digital marketers.
performancing out the bottom third, just constantly performance managing them out.
Everything was a numbers game. Everyone should make 100 calls per day. Boom. And this was like, again, crunching it all to it was a numbers game. And I think this can no longer run in this, especially in our industry. I'm hiring more senior people. I need people that have better understanding of the industry. Why? Because I want to sharpshoot. I don't want a large number. Like now everyone can do a large number because you could put an AI SDR and reach out to 50,000 people, right?
And we both see it every damn day in our inboxes, man. You see it, and you're like, "This is so not even close. That why did you even shoot that arrow?"
Yeah,
Yep,
numbers are easy. If I buy a license to a power dialer, I can make 1,000 calls per day with
absolutely.
one
Yep,
person.
yep.
So, but who cares? I mean, it's no longer an interesting way to find what you need. So you need to find people that are more senior that
Yeah,
can really understand business cases and read into what the company really does and have a conversation and not a sales demo.
yeah. Right. Yep,
Okay.
yep,
That's one
yep.
thing. The second thing is focus a little bit more on RevOps. Whether you hire internally or you want someone to do it as a
Like CXC, you could have CXC come in and run your rev ops, Sagi.
absolutely. Yeah, that's amazing. And I think we also see that with some of our clients, by the way, that what AI changed, it goes back to what you mentioned earlier about the people, is that now service companies are becoming more important in a sense because everyone has access to ChatGPT, everyone has access to build agents with Gemini, but the question is deploy it in real time, like real time, real life applications. And that's where you need service. You need people to actually make it work. And then this is like the thing that we need to tackle. And you need to have someone dedicated for it. If you think that you will manage to implement something like this on your own with a few clicks, it's going to fail. In my view, you need a company like CX that knows how to take it A to Z, because shiny demos are not the same as
The real
the real
real world of
yeah.
battle. Wait, what? Real quick, I think by the end of last year, I kept hearing something very interesting from many of our guests who are coming from big, established, mature companies. They've already figured out the product market fit. They're already doing tens of millions of dollars. They've already got hundreds to 1,000 employees. They've figured their shit out. They know what they're doing. Now they're just growing, right? Some of our smaller guests that are building tomorrow's leading companies, which are still super dope, and you're taking bets on which one of them are going to be real and which are not. But one thing that I found fascinating, Sagi, by the end of last year is starting to hear a trend with a lot of these like incredible younger founders that are building tomorrow's companies come on the show and they talk about AI. They talk about automation. But you just said something that I am fucking completely all about, which is you said, Adrian, I'm moving more back towards like, I'd rather have more senior people. I'd rather have a smaller team that's more sophisticated, higher quality, but larger motor. You got a stronger motor, right?
Yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
bigger motor.
Yeah.
And I kept hearing this automation thing. And then what I think is, as you just said that, and you've been selling for decades now, you've been building selling teams. I've been building customer experience, customer success, customer service teams, inside sales teams for 20 plus years now. I think a lot of companies, some companies might be able to work if they think that in the very, very early phase, before they figured anything out, before they have an army of customers, before they have a huge team, before they have all this complexity that comes into every business once you start to grow, automations are cool and automating right out of the gate, certain things are fine, but you miss a huge opportunity when a lot of the best and the brightest companies were built over the last 10 years. So 10 years ago, you had extremely smart humans touching simple tickets, simple calls, simple emails, simple SMS, simple sales meetings. But guess what? Those really smart people that were doing those early simple things and not worrying about just let's automate. They got human touch after human touch after human touch, and then they got really good at thinking about how to how to start codifying the stuff together, how to start thinking about which things might very much be worth automating. Which things do we never automate because we fucking sell every single
Yeah.
time we get that one type of medium, we sell 80% right there. So no, we're going to try to always get in front of a person right there. I think
Exactly.
that this could be a miss. I also think, and I'm not being an ageist, I promise you, but I am 40 now, so I am getting a little older, a little wiser. You guys can see the gray in my beard. But I think younger folks are very comfortable not talking to people. But the world still, guys, like you want to build a business, you want to grow a team, you want to lead a team, you want to be a C-level executive. You're talking to people every damn day. You're talking to more people that you don't want to talk to than you do want to talk to be able to get to the people that you should and need to be talking to. And like, I just think that like in this world of I keep hearing that. And I think that's another thing that I'm really going to pound on this year to get how, just to hear how other people maybe think about that or how they respond to it, because it's an opportunity. It could be an opportunity both ways. Some people might find a massive opportunity by avoiding the automations and really still doing the human touch stuff at the beginning to make sure that you're actually building a strategic roadmap that makes sense for downstream scale. Um, and then some simpler stuff. I get it, man. If you can build a bullshit app that automates everything for really lightweight stuff that is non-personal that people don't ever mind just banging out right here, go ahead, do that all damn day. And I think there's going to be a lot of cool companies that do very simple, non-personal things like that might blow up. But for like,
Yeah.
depending on what type of company you have, if you got like some of the stuff that you guys do at Deepdub, like you're working with huge businesses. You're working, some of your partners, some of the solutions that you guys are bringing. US, Google, Microsoft, NVIDIA. Like, come on, you guys are working with some massive, and then some of the client stuff that you're doing with the studios and stuff like that. Those are still people, man. Like, they're still going to care about dollars and cents, and they're always going to care about brass tacks. But like, those people want to work, as you said earlier, with like awesome teams to get it that become extension partners of their business.
Oh, but I also need to I'd add to that, you need to ask yourself if you want to make a decision, if you need to be more face to face and like that, ask yourself if my champion will get my project green light and it fails, will they fire him for this failure?
Interesting.
If the answer is yes, then you definitely need to be in front of that person because he must trust you, that you
Trust.
will be there
It's a
for
relationship.
him.
You're building a relationship.
And then it goes to this customer experience thing, because when you go big in those level of contracts with new tech that are like innovation and all that stuff, and people need to know they can count on you, After you're selling, okay, that's the
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
sold me something, now make it work. That's where I think you get your real success. And I think this is what maybe, again, to the what we are seeing with AI, that on one hand it took us to, wow, it's all shiny, new, and so on. But again, it's not so easy to implement that from a self-service kind of play. It's a completely different story.
Absolutely, 100%. And then before we and this is actually perfect segue, let's jump into the second pillar of tools. What you just said could not be more spot on. I think we're already seeing it. Actually, I was just on a pretty cool podcast last week. The GoTo, or former Log Me and GoTo, big
Yeah,
company. So they had they released their Pulse of Work 2025 survey towards the end of the year. One of the biggest things that I was I was prepared to kind of talk about on that podcast is, and I'm gonna actually, this is another thing I want to start, guys. You're gonna hear me talk about this all damn year, but like, there's a couple interesting things. There's number one, 62% of employees say that AI has been significantly overhyped. Most employees, 78%, are using AI technologies ranging from free solutions to specialized internal tools. Yet many feel these tools aren't living up to their promises. So a couple things. I'm calling this out because there's still a massive opportunity for educating the world. And by the way, educating smart people. It's like one of the big things that we spent all of December on, our team at CXC, was like updating all of our go-to-market stuff, updating all of our materials. And then we've got a weird thing. We do this weird trifecta of, we have content, we get awesome people like you to come on the show that we can share the stories, learn, catalog, chronicle. So constantly chronicling information and chronicling and bucketing how different leaders and different businesses are doing really cool things. Then we got this partnership thing. Then we've got our managed services and our consultation. And it's weird, but like, one of the big things that we realized, one of the biggest pivots that we're making going into this year, we're still doing our CX and CS and RevOps optimization, consultation, and strategy. We see the biggest opportunity helping to support, partner by supporting, coaching, working alongside, and then feeding some of the live updates and information to what I believe, like, I'm saying this for the last couple of months on the show, but like, in the next 1,000 days, I think you're very clearly going to see which trove of business leaders. I'm a big fan of the Pareto rule. So let's just say which 20% of business leaders are going to literally come up to the top, meaning they're already nights, and I don't, kids go to bed. All right, cool. Honey, I'm gonna go to the desk and I'm gonna fuck with ChatGPT for an hour, or I'm gonna play with Gemini, or I'm gonna do some advanced solutions, or I'm gonna go, honey, I'm gonna go play with Replit for an hour. You might not even be technical. You might have been a 20-year sales leader who can absolutely get up in front of a 150-person sales team, rock it out. You can tell you've sold hundreds of millions of dollars of shit over all the years that you've managed and built teams. We see this opportunity for the next 1,000 days. There's a huge trove of the people that are going to absolutely be leading the world in the future.
yeah,
Once things start things to siphon out, they still need help, because they're still the ones that are running their business's team every day. So like, everyone that's listening, right, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, you want to learn stuff, you want to get shit done at work. Oftentimes you do your day, then you go home and you deal with your family, your wife, your kids, and then
hmm,
either like special work, dude, that's like nighttime work, or you're getting up early before anyone's up. So like, we see a world where that's going to get harder because the press is going to get harder. Meaning the expectations on the world and the universe, thanks to Amazon and thanks to Google and thanks to everything being right fucking now, which is fine. We live in a very nice part of time, but like, that's going to spill over to all these other industries and all sorts of other businesses. And we see an opportunity where being able to build a business, or being able to have a community that folks can opt into, that can at least give them some of the cheat codes or some of the quick into the dirties, or give them, or then the other thing is this: busy people oftentimes, they can't do super duper deep and dirty master classes. They've got to be able to consume things quick to be able to learn, and then to be able to bring that learning right into their business tomorrow morning and iterate. So, I love kind of like that change, and then it fits with a lot of stuff you're talking about. But with tools for a second, what type of tools, as you guys have built Deepdub, have really sort of invested in the most, or what type of tools have really allowed you guys to continue to find more customers, keep the customers that you have happy, and then really continue to build and grow the business?
I think one thing is around customer service. We're using DevRev, and we build the entire infrastructure behind it in a way that helps us to funnel requests. And since we are also serving some clients as a dubbing service provider, there's also like a lot of operations around the studio production. So
Okay.
we are managing that through another way, and we invested in integrating with some of the clients, so everything will be constantly visible. In terms of sales, my main interest, and still very bullish on that this is the right way to go, is to ingest as much intent that you can, like social listeners, and trying to find. And it brings me back to what I said about the hiring thing, right? When you have senior people, they know how to track things. They tend to read the news, like be very involved
Absolutely.
in what's going on, listening to podcasts, right? I mean, that's a part of it. You might listen to something, think about a new creative idea, then come up with another company that you can reach out to, right? Because
Absolutely.
I don't know,
Yeah,
their CEO said something.
podcasts are the best way to do selling. If you listen to somebody on a podcast and then you hear them say intimate things that they prepared for that podcast, and then instead of doing a shitty templated email, you literally write, "Yo, Sagi, I heard you on CXChronicles podcast. You said minute X, you said XYZ. That's fucking brilliant. Let me know if you could chat." You're
Yeah.
probably not going to delete that email. You might not answer it
No.
right away. You're gonna go back to that email and then finally on the third time you'll be like, "All right, I'll answer this Adrian guy. Here we go." Guys, Sagi's right. That's a brilliant way of getting it in front of somebody, or again, that personalized part of it ain't just shooting 1,000 arrows anymore. Shoot 10
Yeah.
really tight arrows.
If someone is reaching out to me, and I have to say, like, again, right, like, I'm risking my mailbox by saying that, but I have to admit, I read almost every email. So I purchased a few tools from a completely cold email outreach, right? Like someone reached out to me with the right solution for a problem that I was actually facing. I think people tend to, maybe it's because of all the tools, but people in sales, demand gen, and outbound and around that completely miss the personalization, and they think about personalizing for someone
Yep.
instead of personalizing for the problem that this person um, is facing. I used to tell that to my BDRs, like, if you are not, ask before you call someone, ask yourself, can I help this person improve his metrics at work and make him happy and get a promotion? If the answer is no, then either you are not prepared or he's not the right person to call to,
I was just
right?
going to
Like,
say it validates what you're doing moving forward, which all of the BDR, many of the BDR teams that I've managed or I've built in the past, to your point, it's one thing to build a team of humans if you just need to hit numbers. Oh, okay. The strategic goal is okay, we need to make 5,000 phone calls this month. So then I need that many people. And then maybe you're hitting your goals and stuff and you're converting. If you want the latter part of what you just said to be doing pre-connection qualification, which then means you're going to get smaller numbers, but it's going to be a higher quantity or a higher percentage of qualified contacts. Guys, hit pause and go back and return that, because we're still watching some of you guys just blasting and it's silly. And then said another way, you're missing opportunities. You're missing opportunities. And then you're getting false information and false signals on what your pipeline and your deal flow and all that stuff actually looks
that's
like.
the risk. That's the risk.
So you talk about process. How have you at Deepdub, how have you and the team sort of gone about wrangling process, building playbooks, establishing standard operating procedures? Is there a tool that you use for it? Does someone own it? Talk about like how you guys kind of think about process.
We're not using any special tool. It's like a dynamic presentation that we keep getting back to. We have two different go to markets, and we maintain one for each. And we keep getting back to that list when we have new information that we learn from. We also have a product marketing manager that tends to collect information from competitors and bring it back, and then we can ingest it,
Nice.
to some kind of a bottle card. Yeah,
Bottle
so
card?
it's an yeah, like competitor A, competitor B, some kind of frequently asked questions that you tend to keep on seeing again and again. Another topic again goes back to this AI thing. It's is also about the legal process, just something that we also learned along the years. Like we saw what people are asking, and we put that in front of them, right? It was always a part of the legal agreement, but we put that in front of them, so it will reduce the
Yeah,
friction. And, oh, explain to me. It's like, so now we realize like what people care about. We understand what people are looking for in the process, and we try to make that accessible as early as we can in the process, to not just to reduce the questions, but like to
absolutely.
just give them all information. And I think clients also appreciate when you do that, because then it feels like you're also giving something, like some kind of education. Because a big part of what I'm telling them, it may not be, they may decide to buy from a competitor, but I'm trying to give them a level of information that they would again see me as someone that know what he's talking about. And I think they
No, I think that's
appreciate that. Yeah.
absolutely 100%. The right types of customers, the ICPs, are the ones that are going to really, you're going to build your business upon, are always going to appreciate that. There's a lot of times where with CXC, clients might DQ themselves from us because they realize, wait a minute, you guys aren't just like you're not just like $100 an hour IT outsourced fix my HubSpot tickets. No, no, no. We build that shit from scratch, and then we help to deploy it to your team, and then we build the playbooks, and then we do content to support the training and the utilization of it, and then we're doing we're literally aiding the sales team. We're doing essentially information actionability reports. We're doing dashboards. We're doing dashboards and reports. But I say information and actionability reports because we're not just building shitty dashboards either. We're trying to build dashboards that humans can act upon, right? And that's a big thing. Is like, and good sales leaders know this all the time. Every good sales leader's got some nerd sitting on the team who understands how to make math actionable, understandable,
Yeah.
testable for the rest of us dummies who can go out in the world. We could go talk to anybody, and we could maybe even sell you the shirt off of our back. When you show a certain math and certain analytics, if it's not actionable and we don't understand the why, or what do I do with this thing, it's not helpful. Let's jump into the fourth and final pillar of feedback. You just started to say, like, because what I was hearing in this perfect segue, like the listening and the learning. How have you guys at Deep Dive, how have you really kind of thought, I'm breaking some of these two parts. How have you guys really kind of thought about how you manage all the customer feedback that you get from your clients, and even and you're the CRO, man. So like you probably learn a ton from the people that you don't close too. But I'd love for you to spend like
Absolutely.
a minute or two talking about how you guys kind of utilize customer feedback, and I'd love to understand how do you sort of utilize employee feedback. Spend a couple minutes talking about feedback.
All right. So we use a tool for product related calls. We use a tool called the Dovetail. And it's a pretty good one when you want to collect information that is not sales related. You can think about it like Gong but for product managers, in a sense, like for a product interview. It
Cool,
will pick
cool.
up pains and things that clients would care about that are product related, like features or things like that. And you would probably do that in a later stage of the engagement, right? Like you might want to do that when they already signed or they already started
Yeah, yeah,
working
yeah.
with you. And so this is one thing that we do with some of the clients. Again, depend on the level. We have weekly calls where we like continuously collect feedback and trying to create different benchmarks that we can. It's like what I said about building that value. Even if they are not measuring something, we are still trying to show them, the continuous progress, what has improved. And again, with models, with AI models, it makes a huge impact. Like sometimes I would just brief a client on the new things that we released in the model and how it will impact his future work, or what else can he do now, that like new stuff that they can do. So in those sessions, we try to collect the feedback on difficulties to implement, where is it breaking. So this Dovetail is the platform. The rest is done in close conversations between the teams. We usually get a lot of information from customer success,
Yep.
obviously, because they are there in the field, like and we
Front lines,
document all
baby.
in like a ticketing system. And
Absolutely.
sometimes we convert stuff to features, obviously, like we sometimes convert stuff to features.
I love that. First of all, we had a couple guests at the end of last year. There's going to be a lot of AI businesses that are focused on some of that. Meaning, look, I think a lot of people are going to do what we're talking about, where whether people want to hear it or not, might teams will probably get a little leaner, or Sagi, a lot of people are going to do what you just said, brother, where, no, I'm just going to have a smaller team of people that fucking get it, and they've already done it, and then they're the people that me and my leadership team actually understand it makes sense to invest in how whether they, and then this is the thing, guys, you got to understand this, because I'm one of them. Like we some of the shit that we're building in the last year, I'm a non-technical founder. I've been working with customers and leading teams and building teams and managing teams my entire career, right? I've been around a lot of technology, and I'm not a total dumb, but like I've paid attention, but I've always really kind of just had friends. I've had these brilliant product friends. I've had these brilliant analytical and data science friends that I would rap with on some of this stuff. So I was aware of it. I learned about a lot of it, but I also had respect for the different areas of subject matter expertise. Meaning, some of my friends that are some of the best, most incredible builders, or some of my most mathematically inclined friends that I've ever met, they probably can't necessarily like go have conversations like someone like me.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying that
absolutely.
disparaging. I'm not saying that like in a closed conference room or in a bar, or like, because with me, they're fucking awesome and they can talk about everything. And but put them in front of 27 people in a conference room. And then maybe it's a little
I know.
different.
Yeah.
And my point is, like, I think that like there's going to be a lot of really cool tools that are coming out that the people that are going to be best fit, probably smaller, more sophisticated teams, supported the right way. And then this is freaking brilliant, man. We hit a lot of good points in today's episode. But by the way, whether that's supported in-house or whether that means companies start getting comfortable with having certain outsourced partners that are the experts in doing some of this stuff, to really kind of, and
Yes.
then here's the simple analogy I'm going to use, guys. I've said it in a few shows recently, but the New York Yankees, Manchester United, they get the best trainers in the world, right? Some of the biggest CEOs on planet Earth that are running the Fortune 100s, they've got business coaches, therapists, ecologists checking them. They probably don't listen. They probably do whatever they want anyway, but they're at least listening and they're using it. And then you've got like all of these examples of different things: sports, business, bands. Bands have the best managers and engineers and producers. So you could literally have Beyonce still gets told about music constantly. So like, it's pretty normal in all these other areas. So like, I think as one of the big changes with workplace and employees, and then how do businesses differentiate and really truly have a competitive advantage, and how do you keep the best players? That's the other thing. If there is going to be this movement, I'm just going to have smaller teams of smarter people. Okay, how are you going to keep them? Because what about some of us are going to get good at this shit, dude? So some of us are going to be like, and so
That's
then
a good
that's going to
question.
become a whole other new weird thing that people are going to have to be thinking about. It's going to be fun. We're in an interesting part of where this is all going to
Yeah.
go.
You have to, it's a roller coaster. Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
roller coaster.
Yeah.
So this is fantastic. Before we start winding down, a couple things. Anything that you want to call out, or anything that you'd like the CX Nation to know about, any upcoming events or launches or updates or big things that you want everyone to know about that you guys are super excited about at Deepdub right now, or that's coming up in the near future? Anything that you want the CX Nation to know about?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be at the GTC. We have a booth this year at the NVIDIA GTC. I think this one is going to be very interesting, all about the agentic stuff, also in the context of media and entertainment, animation. So it's going to be a blast. So I'm pretty excited about NVIDIA GTC. That's my next big
Love
thing.
it. Where can people either get in touch with you, my friend, or get in touch with your team if they want to learn more about some of the awesome things that you guys are doing at Deepdub?
And your best is go to the Deepdub website, see all the different application things that we do with our voice model, great real life examples, and reach out to us.
Love it. Sagi, this has been an absolute pleasure, man. I'm so excited and happy that you were able to come on the show, share your guys' story. Super cool company. And obviously you guys are going to be one of the businesses that's very well positioned right now for all the things that are to come. But huge thank you for joining the CXChronicles. And I look forward to me and you keeping in touch, my friend, after the fact here.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Adrian.
Be sure to check out the CXC website. And as always, find us on any of your favorite podcast players: iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and more.